Brothers, gird your loin. Deacon, blow the ram's horn. Now sit back and listen. What the Spirit saying to the churches. Keep His commandments, law, statutes, and judgments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Whoever said the law was done away with Israel, they lied. What part of forever that they don't understand? As it is written, His saints will take the land. Now invite the angel that stand at the door to come in and sup with us, and us with Him as we read out of this great legacy. The greatest love story ever told, more valuable than silver and gold. Many are called, but few are chose. Yahweh willing, we make it home. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. About the gospel and the epistles and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant congregation of Israel. We all vindicator, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Yehudah, singing praises to Yahweh and His Son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. We say the commandments. Look, mama, no fringes. His mercy endures forever. Blessed to see another Sabbath, the Sabbath day of the week, where all His saints gather. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Lead the world out there. Sisters, cover your hair. Brothers, gird your loin. Deacon, blow the ram's horn. Now sit back and listen. What the Spirit saying to the churches. Keep His commandments, law, statutes, and judgments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Whoever said the law was done away with Israel, they lied. What part of forever that they don't understand? As it is written, His saints will take the land. Now invite the angel that stand at the door to come in and sup with us, and us with Him as we read out of this great legacy. The greatest love story ever told, more valuable than silver and gold. Many are called, but few are chose. Yahweh willing, we make it home. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. We read it, not the Torah. We read it from the prophets, the wisdom books, and the Psalms. Can't forget about the gospel and the epistles and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant congregation of Israel. We off in Decatur, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Yehuda, singing praises to Yahweh and his son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. We say the commandments. Beyond the surface, beyond the surface, beyond the surface, beyond the surface. The prince of this wicked world, the god of confusion, got black folk experiencing of strong delusions. Got ears that can't hear, mouths that won't speak, eyes that can't see that this curse is so deep. Deaf, dumb, and blind, committing sin / crime, repent, oh Israel, we're running out of precious time in the land where they saying Yahweh is dead, and you wondering why the innocent blood is shed. That's cause Satan's in the earth, he's walking to and fro, doing what he's told, beating his status quo, tempting man with pleasure and wickedness, denying the master, saying don't keep his commandments. Our wisdom and our knowledge in the sight of nations, but you love earthly riches and salvation. That means get safety from tribulation and wrath. The broad way leads to death, and narrow is the path. Preach the gospel, spread the good news. The son of Elohim, Yeshua, king of the Jews, not king of the Christians. That's when they do Christ like. They criminals of Yahweh, outlaws in his sight. Same-sex marriage is okay with the president. That old serpent, the devil, is controlling the government. No prayer in the school system, no truth in the black churches. That's food in our neighborhoods, children killing with no mercy. Look beyond the surface and show yourself approved. Do your own research, seek the spirit of truth. Beyond the surface, beyond the surface, beyond the surface.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Beyond the Surface program. My name is Joseph Ben Israel, and I'm the elder priest of the Cultural Center of the New Covenant Congregation of Israel. We are located at 3901A, Covington Highway, Indicator, Georgia, 30032. Our phone number is 404-286-5869. The website is www.thencci.org. Again, welcome to the Beyond the Surface program. Today's topic is, what do the angels look like? Let me repeat that. Today's topic is, what do the angels look like? Now, if you watched this program before, you know you must have your Bibles out to follow along what we're talking about today. When the white Christians had the Bible to themselves, they painted all the people to look white, from Adam and Eve to Peter and Paul. And for years, white Christians have believed that the people of the Bible look like them. They even painted God to look like an old white man. They painted the angels to look like Europeans. They also painted white female angels. But did the angels spoken of in the Bible really look like white men and white women with white wings on their backs and golden halos on top of their heads? The answer is no. The Bible says that most angels look like men, but not white men. But what are angels, and what is their purpose? Let's see. Let's start this off in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 13 and 14. Let's see what the angels are. This is Hebrews chapter 1, verse 13 and 14. It says, "But to which of the angels said he at any time, sit on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool? Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?" So the angels are spirits. But if that's the case, how did the angels in the book of Enoch get kicked out of heaven and had sex with flesh and blood women and had giant babies? Spirits do not have blood in them. They are eternal beings. So how can an angel procreate with a flesh and blood woman? See, that busts up the book of Enoch right there. They are ministering spirits. Spirits are eternal. So they don't have any blood in them. Haven't you noticed when you go to check on whether your child is yours or not, you get a blood test, don't you? You can't give an angel a blood test. There's no blood in them. So that we define what an angel is. They are spirits. Let's go to Genesis 16, verse 1 to verse 11. Genesis 16, verse 1 to verse 11. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children. And she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, Yahweh hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Yahweh judged between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleases thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of Yahweh found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence camest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, Return to thy mistress, submit thyself unto her hands. And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahweh hath heard thy affliction. So, in this case, the angels are more identified as messengers. That's the overall definition of angels. That why would an angel come to a person and tell them certain things? Well, that is, again, the basic definition of an angel. They are messengers. Let's continue. Let's go to Genesis 19, verse 1 to verse 5. Genesis 19, verse 1 to verse 5. I got to get me another Bible. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. I guess that's what that said. My Bible is really messed up. And he said, behold now, my masters, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and you shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed his house around, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. Now, when the men of Sodom saw those two angels, what did they call them? They called them men. Now, if these two angels had wings and halos on their head, they would not have called them men. But he called them men. They called them men. Now in Sodom, they wanted to rape them. They wanted to rape what they thought were men, but these were angels. And did you notice that the angels ate? Spirits don't need to eat. But because of the hospitality of Lot, they ate. Same thing with Abraham. When those three angels showed up, he made a feast for them. And they did eat. Now you got to wonder, what happened to the food after they ate it? We don't know. Because with the flesh and blood man, yeah, it changes. And it comes out in the drought. But they don't have anything to come out. But nevertheless, they still can eat. An angel can do anything. But remember, they're not flesh and blood men. They look like men. Let's continue. Psalm 104, verse 1 to verse 5. Psalm 104, verse 1 to verse 5. Bless Yahweh, O my soul. O Yahweh, my Elohim, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who covereth thyself with light as with a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire, who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever. Now that's what the Bible says. Now who's right? White people or the Bible? Because they've even had TV shows talking about angels. And they went around doing good. I think there was one TV show that had a female angel and a male angel. But that's the mind of white people. Because you're not going to find a female angel like you see on television. Now, let's continue. There are also angelic beasts. So you got angels that look like men, but you have angelic beasts also. So let's look at that. Let's go to Isaiah 6, verse 1 to verse 7. Isaiah 6. Let's look at this angelic being. This angelic angelic beasts. This is Isaiah 6, verse 1 to verse 7. It says, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Adonai sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he did fly. And one cried unto another, and said, Holy, holy, holy is Yahweh of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the posts of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Then said I, Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips, for mine eyes have seen the King, Yahweh of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar, and he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. See, Yahweh calls who he wants to call. And in this case, he sent the seraphims to purify Isaiah. But they had wings on their backs, so they did not look like men. They were angelic beasts. I mean, we got other examples. Let's look at another example. Let's go to Genesis 3, verse 22 to verse 24. Genesis 3, verse 22 to verse 24. 24. And Yahweh Elohim said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Therefore Yahweh Elohim sent him forth from the Garden of Eden, to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. So you place the cherubim. Now we have different descriptions of cherubims. Let's look at them. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 10, verse 1 to verse 22. And as I said before, this may be a two-parter here. It's got a lot of information. Now remember, there was a cherubim in the entranceway of the Garden of Eden. Now let's look at Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel chapter 10, verse 1 to verse 22. Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims, where there appeared over them as it were a sapphire stone, as the appearance of the likeness of a throne. Now this is the vision that Ezekiel's having of heavenly beasts. And he spake unto the man clothed with linen, and said, Go in between the wheels, even under the cherub, and fill thine hand with coals of fire from between the cherubims, and scatter them over the city. And he went in my sight. Now the cherubim stood on the right side of the house when the man went in, and the cloud filled the inner court. Then the glory of Yahweh went up from the cherub and stood over the threshold of the house, and the house was filled with the cloud, and the court was full of the brightness of Yahweh's glory. And the sound of the cherubim's wings were even to the outer court, was heard even to the outer court, as the voice of the Almighty Elohim when he speaketh. And it came to pass that when he had commanded the man clothed with linen, saying, Take fire from between the wheels, from between the cherubims, then he went in and stood beside the wheels. And one cherub stretched forth his hand from between the cherubims unto the fire that was between the cherubims, and took thereof and put it into the hands of him that was clothed with linen, who took it and went out. And there appeared in the cherubims the form of a man's hand under their wings. So these cherubims had wings also. And when I looked, behold, the four wheels by the cherubims, one wheel by one cherub, and another wheel by another cherub, and the appearance of the wheels was as the color of a beryl stone. And as for their appearances, they four had one likeness, as if a wheel had been in the midst of a wheel. When they went upon their four sides. They turned not as they went, but to the place where he hid the head. Look, they followed it. They turned not as they went. And their whole body, and their backs, and their hands, and their wings, and the wheels were full of eyes round about, even the wheels that they four had. As for the wheels, it was cried unto them in my hearing, O wheel. And everyone had four faces. The first face was the face of a cherub, and the second face was the face of a man, and the third face of a lion, and the fourth face of an eagle. And the cherubims were lifted up. Now that doesn't look human at all, does it? And the cherubims were lifted up. This is a living creature that I saw by the river Kibar. And when the cherubims went, the wheels went by them. And when the cherubims lifted up their wings to mount up from the earth, the same wheels also turned not from beside them. And when they stood, these stood. And when they were lifted up, these lifted up themselves also. For the spirit of the living creature was in them. Then the glory of Yahweh departed from off the threshold of the house and stood over the cherubims. And the cherubims lifted up their wings and mounted up from the earth in my sight. When they went out, the wheels also were beside them, and every one stood at the door of the east gate of Yahweh's house. And the glory of the Elohim of Israel was over them above. This is the living creature that I saw under the Elohim of Israel by the river of Kibar, and I knew that they were the cherubims. Everyone had four faces apiece, and everyone four wings, and the likeness of the hands of a man was under their wings. And the likeness of their faces was the same faces which I saw by the river of Kibar, their appearances and themselves. They went everyone straight forward. Again, these are angelic beings. Now, this is a strange vision that Ezekiel's having, because these cherubims had four faces. And they had more than a pair of wings on their backs. And they were in the company of wheels, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. That kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? One of those Negro spirituals. Ezekiel saw the wheel. So we're looking at angelic beasts. Let's look at another one. Let's go to Revelation chapter 4, verse 1 to verse 8. Let's look at another vision of an angelic beast. Revelation 4, verse 1 to verse 8. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in the heaven, and one sat on the throne. I said, now remember what he says in verse 1. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter. He told him, come up here to heaven, right? And immediately I was in the spirit. So he wasn't up there physically. He was up there spiritually. And behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne in sight like unto an emerald. Now, white people painted God as an old white man. But did he look at what he sat on the throne, look what he looked like. He says that he that sat was to look upon like a jasper. Well, a jasper is brown in color. And a sardine stone, well, sardine stone is red in color. And there was a rainbow round about the throne in sight like unto an emerald. And emerald is green. That does not sound like an old white man. And around about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of Elohim. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and around about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. And the first beast was like a lion. Now this is what he's seeing up in heaven. The first beast was like a lion, the second beast like a calf, and the third beast had the face as a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. And the 4 beasts had each of them 6 wings about him, and they were full of eyes within, and they rest not day and night, saying, Holy, 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 Adonai Elohim Almighty, which was and is to come. Again, these are angelic beasts. And this is all they do. These angels are created beings, and they have a purpose to serve he that sat upon the throne. Now, I want you to notice something here in verse 5. It says, and out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of Elohim. Now, consider the Holy of Holies and what is in the Holy of Holies, the Ark of the Covenant. And outside the Holy of Holies, you have what they call the menorah, a lampstand. It has 7 lamps. And we got 7 spirits that stand before the throne. The mercy seat on the Ark of the Covenant represents Yahweh's throne on earth. So you see why when Moshe put all this together, he did it according to how it was given to him in the mount. So it resembles what's up in heaven. The Ark of the Covenant, the 7 lamps, and the mercy seat, well, they resemble what we just read here. But remember now, the angels are created for a purpose. And this purpose of these 4 angelic beasts was to say, Holy, 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 Adonai Elohim Almighty, which was and is to come. See, Yahweh loves that glory. Yeah, it's going to be a 2-parter, bro. I haven't even turned the page yet. Let me stop here and invite you out to the Cultural Center of the New Covenant Congregation of Israel. Again, we're located at 3901A Covington Highway, Decatur, Georgia, 30032. Our phone number is 404-286-5869, and our website is www.thencci.org. We have a prophecy class every first day of the week, which is Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. Come on out and let's read the prophecies that are written about in the Bible, because these prophecies are true prophecies. Because some of them are coming together even as we speak. Notice how the world is in turmoil right now. Notice how America is in turmoil right now. It's in the Bible. It's written in the Bible. So if you want to learn more of what the prophecies say, come on out and join us on the first day of the week, which is Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. If you cannot join us in person, you can join us on Facebook and on YouTube. We have a history class every third day of the week, which is Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Come on out, read about your history, black people. This is your history book. Learn where you come from. Learn who was the first of you. And learn why you are here in America and not in your own land. Did you know you had your own land, black people? When you had your own land, you never called each other black. So come on out and find out a little bit more about your history on the third day, which is Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. You cannot join us in person. You can join us on Facebook and on YouTube. We have a sisters only class every fifth day of the week, which is Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. You can join the sisters on Zoom. And lastly, we have a Sabbath service every seventh day of the week, which is Saturday at 1 o'clock p.m. Come on out and see what it is like to remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. You cannot join us in person. You can join us on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, let's look at another instance of angelic beasts. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 5, verse 5 to verse 11. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 5 to verse 11 says, Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes and see what is this that goeth forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, Moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. Ephah is a dry measure. 1/2 bushels or 40 liters. That's what an ephah is. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah, which in this case is a basket. And he said, This is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. Then lifted I up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whither do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, To build it and house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. Well, the land of Shinar is where Babylon started. And what does Babylon stand for? Confusion. But these are female angelic beasts with wings on their back. They are beasts. And they don't have anything to say. All they have to do is take that ephah and take it to Babylon. But these women with wings on their backs, those are angelic beasts. Now, a lot of black women won't like that at all. They'll probably say, well, God should make female angels too. Oh, yeah? Well, won't you tell them that? Let's continue. The Hebrew word Elohim is a better word to use instead of God, because Elohim is the plurality of Yahweh, which encompasses Yahweh, Israel, and the angels. Let's show you a good example of that. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 to verse 27. I want you to notice how this is written. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and verse 27. It says, and God, I'm going to read it like it's written, okay? And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. But that's a conflict in the way that it's written. It says, and God said, let us. God is singular. Us is plural. So how is it that God is more than one God? And who's talking here? Let us make man in our image and after our likeness. Well, when you study it, you see the Hebrew word Elohim, which means the plurality of Yahweh. It contained in that plurality, in the word Elohim, is Yahweh, Israel, and the angels. Okay? Now, let's prove that. Let's go to Exodus 3, verse 1 to verse 6. Exodus 3, verse 1 to verse 6. Now Moshe kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of Elohim, even to Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. Now it said the angel, right? It said, and the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not near hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. Now it said it was an angel. But this angel said, I'm the God of your fathers. He had the authority to say that he was God. And that was an angel. And this was not an ordinary angel either. If we have time, we're going to go and see a little bit more about this angel that told him to take your shoes off your feet, for the ground you stand upon is holy ground. So this angel here is a little bit more holy than the average angel. All the angels are holy angels, but nevertheless, this one here, unlike the rest of the angels, like the angels that visited Lot, they didn't tell Lot to take his shoes off. And the angel that visited Hagar, the angel that visited Hagar did not tell her to take her shoes off. But this angel here said, Moshe, Moshe, take your shoes off your feet, for the ground you stand upon is holy ground. This is a special kind of angel here. This is a very powerful angel. If we have time, we're going to see who this angel is. Now, let's look at, again, how the Bible describes angels. Let's go to Genesis 32, verse 24 to verse 32. Genesis 32, verse 24 to verse 32. And Yaakov was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him unto the breaking of the day. He wrestled a man. Now, Yaakov, he about 60 years old here. But he handled himself. He's wrestling a man, right? That's what he says, right? And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Yaakov's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go except thou bless me. Now, he's looking at this man a little bit differently now, because he touched the hollow of his thigh and crippled him. That's not what an ordinary man does when he's wrestling. So it came into Yaakov's mind and said, this is not a man here I'm wrestling. This is an angel I'm wrestling. That's why I said, I'm not going to let you go till you bless me, you angel. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Yaakov. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Yaakov, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. He changed his name. That's how he blessed him. I'm going to change your name. You're not going to be called Yaakov anymore. You're going to be called Israel. Because as a prince, you got power with God. That's one of our forefathers. We are descended from a man that wrestled an angel all night long and survived. And Yaakov asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou ask after my name? And he blessed them there. See, them angels don't want you calling them by their names. You call on Yahweh, not the angels. You don't pray to an angel like the Catholics do. You pray to Yahweh. The angels are just messengers. They are sent to certain individuals for a certain purpose. They are sent to individuals for a certain purpose. Verse 30, and Yaakov called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. He thought he was looking at God. Because just like Moshe was scared to look upon the angel of the burning bush, same thing with Yaakov. He said, I'm still alive, and I just saw God. Now again, this is one of our forefathers. This is one of the patriarchs. Now he's handling an angel. Now we know angels are very powerful. He could have probably broke away any time. But he was there for a purpose. Remember now, when they first started wrestling, they called this angel a man. And now Yaakov is calling this man God. He says, I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. I didn't die. I saw him, and I didn't die. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun arose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Yaakov's thigh in the sinew that shrank. He crippled him. He could have killed him, but he crippled him. He crippled him for a purpose. You got to read the rest of the story, because at the time he was about to meet up with his fraternal brother, his twin brother Esau, and he was scared to death. And this is how Yahweh remedied him. Now that goes to show also, be careful what you ask Yahweh to do for you. Because he will answer your prayer, but not the way you think. So in this case, Yahweh sent his angel, and the angel crippled him to get him to stop wrestling with him. He said, we've been doing this all night long. And now the sun is coming up, you still got me. See, and then he touched the hollow of his thigh and crippled him. And that let Yaakov know there's something special about this man. All he did was touch me, and now I'm crippled. So he knew that was not an ordinary man. And he figured, he put two and two together. If this is not an ordinary man, this must be an angel, the way he touched me and I'm crippled. And even though he crippled him, he said, I'm still not going to let you go until you bless me, because I know what you are now. Let's continue. Let's go to Judges 13, verse 1 to verse 8, and then 15 to verse 23. Judges. Do I want to do that? Let's see here. You know what? I think I want to do this instead. No, there it is down there. I got it later on. Probably have to do this next week. But let's go to Judges 13, verse 1 to verse 8. And then we're going to pick it up at verse 15 to verse 23. Judges 13, verse 1 to verse 8, and then 15 to verse 23. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and beareth not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto Elohim from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God. Very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name. But he said unto me, Behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to Elohim from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated Yahweh and said, O my Adonai, let the God which thou didst send come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. Now let's pick this up at verse 15 and verse 23. Judges 13, verse 15 to verse 23. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee. And the angel of Yahweh said unto Manoah, Though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. And if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto Yahweh. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of Yahweh. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, what is thy name, that when thy sayings come to pass, we may do thee honor? And the angel of Yahweh said unto him, why askest thou thus after my name, seeing it is secret? There's another angel said, you don't need to know my name. That's really strange when you look at the book of Enoch. Because in the book of Enoch, you got a whole bunch of angel names up in there. But we got angels saying, no, you don't need to know my name. You need to know Yahweh. Don't worry about my name. See, the angels are messengers. And they are there to give a message to flesh and blood people. So what he says, I'm sent to you. So you don't need to know my name. Same thing with Yaakov. When he wrestled that angel, he asked the angel, what's your name? You don't need to know my name. And Manoah said, what is your name? My name is secret, Manoah. You don't need to know my name. So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering and offered it upon a rock unto Yahweh. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of Yahweh ascended in the flame of the altar, and Manoah and his wife looked on it and fell on their faces to the ground. That would have shocked me too. This angel just disappeared in the flame of the altar. So that was not a man. Not acting like this. But he looked like a man. This is like different. The clothing he had on was very bright, dazzling. But he didn't have white wings on his back, nor did he have a halo around his head. But the angel of Yahweh did no more appear to Manoah and to his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was an angel of Yahweh. And Manoah said unto his wife, we shall surely die, because we have seen God. Look at what he said here. Same thing Yaakov said. They've seen God. Now remember now, this is a translator's word. God is a translated word. What he was saying, he's seen Elohim. And so Elohim is the plurality of Yahweh. And you have contained in that word, Elohim, that title, it's a title, Yahweh, Israel, and the angels. So what we've been dealing with angels that had the authority to do and say what they did and said. But his wife said unto him, if Yahweh were pleased to kill us, he would not have received a burnt offering and a meal offering at our hands, neither would he have showed us all these things, nor would as at this time have told us such things as these. So Manoah nutting up. Said, we're going to die. We're going to die. We're going to die. We're going to die. And the wife had to chill him out. I said, no. He just told me I'm going to be pregnant, and we got to raise this child the way he said raise the child. Why would he do that and then kill us? Manoah had panicked. See, a man like Manoah need a wife to chill him out, because he'll nut up in a minute. But then they saw something that no one has ever seen before. He panicked, but she was cool. She chilled him out. Hey, chill. Chill. If Yahweh had received our offering and a meal offering, if he was going to kill us after we did that, I think I got, let me see here. I tell you what, let's go to one more place because I ain't got but a few more minutes. Let's go to Job chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 6. Job chapter 1, verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. It says the sons of God. Now you go back into Genesis 6, it says the same thing. The sons of God went into the daughters of men. But those sons of God were flesh and blood men. If they had children, they were flesh and blood men. Remember now, an angel is a spirit. And a spirit cannot have blood in them, nor can they procreate. Now this is taking place up in heaven. When they present themselves before Yahweh, they are up in heaven, and Satan shows up too. Let's continue to read what else say what was going on. Okay. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Whence cometh thou? Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Because Satan has dominion over the earth. How did he get that? Because of Adam and Eve. They sinned, and so the dominion of the earth was given unto Satan, unto the serpent. So the sons of God are presenting themselves up in heaven. And Satan's up in heaven too. That's why he said, Where you been, Satan? I've been going to and fro and up and down in the earth. So they're not on the earth at this point. They're up in heaven. Now, we have a law that Yahweh's given us that we have to present ourselves also 3 times a year before Yahweh. And we do that. And sometimes, most of the time we do it as a congregation, the men. And sometimes people that cannot make it here at that time, they have to do it at home. But nevertheless, you're presenting yourselves before your God. Again, that is our culture, that is our law. Now, I'm going to have to stop here and pick this up. I got to do a part 2. I got a whole lot more for you. I want to thank you for joining us, and I hope you learned something out of this. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.